Pull up the car, stop the traffic, get out the barricades. It's time for Mickey B's Jukebox Review.
You're with Mickey B, and you're right here on Mickey B's Jukebox Review on Internet Radio and TV. It's a super duper night tonight where you get double the exposure.
It's kind of excitement, huh?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's unbelievable with Mr. Tom Mele sitting next to me. You know what this is? This is really what the old radio business used to be, but you couldn't see it on camera.
Similar to this.
Similar to this.
Well, you know, we're trying something new, just so that the audience knows what's going on out there. We obviously, here at Madhouse TV, we've got so many shows, Mickey, and we've had the call to do kind of like a radio TV show, and that's exactly what we're doing here today. We're doing a radio kind of tell. See, now I don't know what that guy. You see the guy in the window? Why has he got to always bother me?
Yeah,
he's got to come in here. He's got to say. But no, listen, we're doing what's called a radio.
He's in a fish tank over there on the side.
Tell me, he's always been in a fish tank. But anyway, what's very unique about what you do is you keep alive all of the, and I hate to say oldies because it kind of dates you a little bit.
Yes. Well, I am 67 years old.
Okay, so it does do that a little bit. But it's been said time and time again that, if there's anybody here on Long Island in New York that keeps the oldies alive, it's Mickey B.
Well, you want to know something? I love this music. And I got started, Tommy, back there when I was 15 years old with, of course, Paul Simon.
Right.
And we had a group called Tico and the Triumphs, so we did 10 records together. And then Paul went on to his own thing with Art Garfunkel and had Sounds of Silence, but they were called Tom and Jerry back in 1958.
Why was that?
Yeah. Why were they called Tom and Jerry?
Yeah.
Probably named after the cat, Cat and Mouse.
You mean Simon and Garfunkel?
Yes, Simon and Garfunkel.
They were called Tom and Jerry?
Oh, yes, a big top record label at that time. Yeah.
Really? I never knew that.
That's right.
And I like Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah,
they're
good.
Yeah. He used to wear those white bucks, He used to be in his basement in Main Street.
Okay.
And he used to chew on his pick once in a while. And
Did he like being called Tom and Jerry?
I never asked if he liked to call it. I'll tell you one thing he did. When he separated, he became Jerry Landis. And he wrote a lot of songs for a lot of different people. He's very, very close to Carole King. And I was in Carole King's
one of
house
Vicky's favorite.
when they introduced of course, the Cookies and Little Eva together with Little Eva and wound up with the Locomotion song.
I know. Don't mind my hands over here because obviously what we're doing here is usually done behind the scenes, but since we're doing kind of radio and this is going out through Blog Talk as well. Not only through Madhouse TV, but Blog Talk Radio. It looks like I'm going to have to do some of these controls here myself until we get this a little bit perfected. And at the time, we'll bring in an engineer, and he'll be in there, and you'll be able to just look into that beautiful camera at all those people out there that are watching us tonight and do this whole thing.
That's right. Not only that, you can take our telephone number, 631-669-7999. That's the number you could call in for some requests. If we could get those requests on, we may not be able to get them immediately, but we could get a couple of minutes later. So give us a call at 631-669-7999 for your favorite songs. Here's a song that goes out to Barbara. She's out there in Kentucky. Here's Dion and the Belmonts and I Wonder Why.
Here we go. Let me just make sure I got this.
Don't know why I love you. Don't know why I care.
Yeah, this is actually good now.
Your love to share. I wonder why I love you like I do. Is it because I think you love me too? I wonder why I love you like I do, like I do.
great sound, huh, Tommy? Yeah. We give it a little bit of about 30 seconds. This is called the 30-second show, you know? I think our phones are ringing right now. Let's go to phone line. How do we do this, Tommy? We're going to try to get this.
All you do is just
hit that button right
hit
there.
that button right
Mickey B right here. Who's calling in? Hey, Anthony from Brooklyn. How are you?
I'm doing great. I love your show. I never miss it. I watch it every week. It's amazing. It's so nice to meet you. We appreciate it so much. And I actually had the pleasure to meet you. One of your shows, one of the special shows, the best I did it. And I doubt you remember me, but it was a great night. And I was just wondering, you know, my wife and I just saw the movie The Prospect about a week ago.
Uh-huh.
Is there any way you could do a little
Well, what's amazing is we just started to play that song before as an opening for our show. It's funny that you had called in about it, but we just played a little part of it, and I'll play you a little bit more of the song. Maybe we'll start up again, Tommy. What do you think?
You want to start from the beginning?
Well, let's do it for Anthony. He's out there. Anthony, listen to this. You talk about the Bronx Tale. I had the opportunity the other night to meet Chaz Palminteri at Eisenhower Park. Great guy. Looks the same as when he did Bronx Tale 30 years ago, and just an amazing actor. But you asked for the song. Here it is. Once again, 1958.
Oh, you're the best, Mickey. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
Okay,
really
Anthony.
made my wife's night, I got to tell you.
Thanks for calling in. Where are you, Anthony? Where are you located?
Right on Flatbush Avenue.
In Brooklyn, New York, huh?
That's it.
Okay. Here it is. I Wonder Why. Dion and the Belmonts.
Thank you, Mickey. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care. Have a good night. Well,
Okay.
see, that's the
That's
beauty
what happens
about
when-
having this radio show here. You know, it's for some reason it didn't go on.
That's what happens when you play
wanna-
it once. You
You
can't
want
play it
to
twice,
try it
you
again?
know?
You want to try it again?
All right, try
Let's
one more
it
time.
again. Okay.
Here we go.
Nope, there you go. I'm sorry. It's not happening tonight. But anyway, like I said, you know, we're testing this out for the first time. Talk to me about you and I before we came on the Diamonds.
Oh, the Diamonds. The group, the Diamonds?
Diamonds. Tell me about it.
You know what I love about these guys? When I first heard the Diamonds, you know, Diamonds came from Ontario, Canada.
Right.
There weren't many groups that came from Ontario, Canada. I mean, Paul Anka came from Canada and had many, many great hits. But the Diamonds were a group that when you first heard them sing a song like Little Darling, right?
Right.
You thought that they were Spanish. I mean, it had all the Spanish music in the background. You know, it's on a YouTube clip. And you want to hear it? You want to
Yeah. Now,
check it out?
do we have it on a YouTube?
Oh, you got it right here. Watch
Okay.
this. Watch very carefully.
Okay.
Here's the Diamonds live on stage.
My darling, I need you to call my own and never do wrong. To hold in mind your little hand, I'll know too soon that all is so grand. Please hold my hand.
Wow. Boy, I'll tell you something. Nothing like that fabulous group right there. The Diamonds. I feel like I'm in Yankee Stadium, you know?
I know. See, that's my fault again.
Yeah, but that's a great sound.
That's it, but I mean,
That's a great sound. I love that sound.
let me ask you a
It
question.
always had echo. You know, all the doo-wop had echo. Echo. You can't forget that echo.
Yeah, you know, it's been a while since I operated any of these control panels
Uh-huh.
here, so you got to give me a little bit of a break here. In
Oh,
fact,
have
I'm going to
fun.
drop this down just a little bit there to make
Okay.
it sound a little bit better. Okay, there we go. Let me ask you a question. You know, here at Madhouse TV, we've had the opportunity to have a lot of good groups come through here. But there was one oldies group that always stuck with me, and that was Barbara Harris.
Oh, she's a doll. Barbara Harris is one of the nicest women in the whole entire business.
Right. You know, I mean,
And she
I saw
happens to
that.
be, and Tommy, let me tell you something, she happens to be one of the greatest singers that sings this music. I mean, she could sing not only oldies, she could sing gospel, she could do the classic sound, she does it all.
Right.
Very, very talented, very underrated in this business.
Now, tell me a little about Barbara Harris. I know that when Barbara Harris and the Toys, they first started, where did they actually start? Was it Brooklyn?
Well, actually, it came out of New York, you know, I guess around the the five boroughs.
And how did they get discovered? I mean, you know, I know that a lot of groups back then, you know, we didn't have internet, we didn't have all this social media stuff. So let's take somebody like Barbara Harris. I mean, obviously they're not hanging out on the street corner.
No.
I mean, where are they that they got their break?
Now, let me tell you something. I mean, I could go into this, you know, about Bob Crew and all, the guy who discovered the Whiff and Poof song and also put the Four Seasons together, you know?
Right.
Him and Bob Gordy, and he also did it with the girls. But I want to tell you something that you asked. There is a tremendous book out here, which is the Girl Groups of Rock and Roll. So you could purchase this. You know, you could go on the web and you could purchase Girl Groups of Rock and Roll, and it's by a dear friend of mine, John Clementi.
Just
Now-
Google Girl Groups
Now
of
you
Rock and
asked
Roll.
about the toys, right?
Right.
So if you go into this here, see, I'm going to satisfy, and you look up over here. Let's go to ST here, right?
Make
Now,
sure you're
here's the
in that mic.
toys, page 236.
Right.
So you go to 236. It's like a dictionary of.
Now, let me
toys.
ask you. You know, I know that these girls, they really
Yeah.
got the raw deal. They didn't get the
at this.
kind of. There it is, the
See?
toys.
So
and
now
there's
it tells
Barbara
you.
Harris.
And here it is, Barbara Harris, the girl. Now, when you want to know stuff like, yes, you see, by the mid 1965, rock and roll had already, you see this all the way down here, and then it keeyou on going down. Bob Crew, see, I told you
Yeah,
about
Bob Crew,
See,
yeah.
I knew that. Was working with Gene Thomas, Tracy Day, and most notably Diane Renee. Now, Diane Renee, she made that song, Walk Away, Renee, Diane. Well, remember that other song, the Navy Blue Navy? Blue
I'm
Navy?
only 46.
I think it's a different Blue Navy. Anyway, that don't make a difference. But anyway, here, Sandy Linzer and Danny, all of this in here tells you. See, look at this. Linzer and Randall found the quality over there, looking for a young girl from Queens, New York at that time. See, the toys were St. Albans, Queens.
Right.
Okay, and in New York City, and the town that the famed the base he called. Now, Barbara Harris and Barbara Parrott knew each other from Woodrow Wilson High School.
Right. I remember when Barbara Harris
Yes.
was here, she was telling us that they knew each other from high school. The point is, with groups like this,
Yes.
was it very difficult in that era to get discovered for your talent?
Absolutely.
So, how would you compare it from today to that back then?
I think it's just as hard to get discovered today, and it's very difficult. You got to be out there in the market. You got to, you know, first of all, you know how many kids are out there today that have great voices and never make it?
Yeah, but you have things out there like America Got Talent. You have things
Yes.
out like, you know, all of these the YouTube that people go out. I mean, look at that kid Justin. What is it, Bieber? I can
Yes.
never say it right. You know, 'cause
Bieber.
yeah, you take a kid like this that was on YouTube, and then all of a sudden, this kid is making millions upon millions of dollars. These poor girls, they're lucky if they saw that kind of money.
Well, you know what happened? In those days, they'll all tell you the artists. They all got ripped off
Boy, yo,
by the record companies. They never paid the royalties. And what happened was there's a couple of different things going on now where they're trying to get lawyers and law firms to get back their royalties through the publishing and so forth and so on. It was a bad timing period. I don't know why it happened, how it happened, and how
but
come
didn't
they
these
have the proper
girls have
representation.
managers? Didn't they have managers that helped out like this?
You know what it was? A kid that was 13, 14, 15 years old, somebody came by and said, wow, we love your daughter, we love your son, we want to put together a little group or something. We're all so happy to get a recording that could be heard on the radio. They were so excited.
They didn't care about the money.
They didn't even care about the money. They didn't even think about the money at that time.
With the record companies, what they did. Now, let me ask you a question. Epic Records is
Yes.
still in business now, right?
Epic is
Epic
around, yeah.
is it Epic and Columbia Records. They're
Yeah,
still
yeah,
around.
yeah.
Now these are the companies that actually sign these people.
These companies were better companies than some of the other companies. I don't want to mention all the names of the
Right, but
companies.
so you're telling me that the lower end companies are the ones that knew the talent and didn't pay these girls for what they're worth.
yeah, some of them, yeah.
What a
A lot
shame.
of people got
Now,
ripped
now you get somebody like the Toys today. You know, let's face it. I mean, is there and I'm going to put you on the spot here for a second. Is there a market for this kind of music for younger people today?
In the oldies?
Yeah.
Well, you saw the teen stations.
Yes.
Kids have been on the show and all, right? It's sort of a novelty. Sort of a novelty. Will the music progress with newer kids getting into it? I'm not 100% sure of it.
Yeah, but the type, it's not necessarily the music. Will the music stay? The songs from back then will stay alive forever.
Yes.
My question is, will the younger kids that like the teen stations, they come in here, they sing covers from girls like this from the days
Yes,
gone by.
absolutely.
Do you think that style of music will come back where girls like the teen stations can come up with their own music and actually do this?
Very possible. I'll tell you why. You take Harry Connick Jr., you take Michael Bublé, right? Those are guys that have the Frank Sinatra sound. So if somebody would have said, is Frank Sinatra's music ever going to come back by a younger guy? It did.
It did.
It
Yes,
did.
you're
It
right.
came back bigger than ever.
Right.
These guys make a lot of money. So do I think that these ladies here today can be the future McGuire sisters or whatever? Times can change, and yes, they can come into a niche market.
How long do you think it's going to be before the music of yesterday like this is gone? Do you think it's going to happen?
Well, once we leave this earth,
Right.
then we don't have the music anymore. But you got to remember something. Al Jolson, right? Mm-hmm. We don't hear too much Al Jolson music
No,
anymore.
we don't.
either, right. Will Elvis Presley be heard forever? That's a good question.
It's a good question.
Will Michael Jackson be heard forever in another 50 years, 100 years, 200 years from now, 300
You don't
years?
know.
We don't know.
We don't know if we're going to be here in 102 years.
Right.
You
But
know,
somebody will. So
the other day, Vicky went out. You know my wife, Vicky.
Yes.
She went out and she bought me an old Victrola.
she did.
The one where
with
you crank.
cranked it.
You crank it up,
Uh-huh.
and you put the needle on the old records, and
Right.
they were really thick. And I mean, when I think of these records, I think of the old scary movies because when the record ended, it never gets.
Yeah. You always have
You
that.
always hear it.
Yeah.
So she actually bought me this as a present, and we were listening. It came with about 40 albums, and the albums were they're in great condition. And we put that on, and I was listening to that music that people back in the 30s to 20s used to listen to, and that was the popular music of the day. Today, it's gone.
Yes.
You don't listen to it.
No.
Okay. Will that happen here?
Do you know, I want to interrupt one second when you talk about that record spinning. Do you know one time records ended abrupt?
No, I didn't know
The
that.
fade out record was put together by a guy who wrote Lollipop for the Chordettes. Lollipop, lollipop.
But that wasn't really vinyl back then, was it?
I don't know what it was before.
Because I have one that's got to be about a quarter-inch thick.
Really, it was a little metal. I
It's,
think. Was
I
it
don't know
metal?
what it is. I don't know what it is.
I
But
think it was metal.
But now every one of those records that are in that box,
Uh-huh.
those people obviously they're all gone. But the point is that music when I'm gone, that's it. That music's gone with me.
Yes, I think the music's going to end.
Is that going to happen here?
I hope not. I hope that somebody picks up. I think the music will always be around because there's always somebody that's young that likes the music. Opera never left. Opera's been
But
around forever.
opera is different than this. What I would like to see, because I actually enjoy this. Listen, I can get onto the radio. I can listen to Hair Nation. I can listen to country, and then I can listen to the oldies.
Yes.
So I can always do that. The only thing that I have is an issue with the oldies, and I hate to call it the oldies.
Yes.
Is the only issue. I wish that people would come out with new songs and new lyrics
With the oldie sound.
with the oldie sound.
They do.
Who?
Well, the groups of today have come out with new songs. All of the groups that I bring here on the TV show, they have done some songs new with oldies, new words.
But
oldie sound.
they're older people. I'm talking about
young kid.
young kids that are in their 20s, 25, young
Yeah.
teens.
They may
Will
come
they come
back.
out with the young sound?
Tommy, they may come back with
I
it.
mean,
You
with
know
that
what?
sound.
Same thing like clothing. Clothing comes back again. The music could come back again by a new group one day.
Let's talk about one of the other groups.
Listen, I want to tell you
have.
something.
Got it.
It's perfect that you just said it because a song called "In the Still of the Night"
Right.
was a big hit for Fred Parrish and the Five Satins. All right, 1956. Boys to Men did it over again and wound up with a #1 hit record, bringing this man thousands and thousands and thousands of repeat dollars again.
Is that right?
That's right. He made more money with Boys to Men than he made on a record when he did it himself. So there you are, talking about the song.
See
And now
that?
that we're talking
So-
about this.
So I have to say, see, then I'm wrong. Then I'm wrong. Then it could come. Hey, listen, music is music, and I don't care what it is. There's a time and place for every type of music that's out there. Whether you're listening to hard rock or whether you're listening to, in the still of the night. Mm-hmm. Tell me about our next video.
Well, here's the thing. Fred Parris of Five Satins had the opportunity of introducing him last week at Eisenhower Park. The man sounds better than ever. He's just fantastic. Guy that wrote this song when he was in the United States Army. He looked up at the sky and said, we have a still night, and all of a sudden he had in the still of the night and winds up with a song that went forever.
Yeah.
So let's watch him when he goes back a couple of years ago, and here he is, Fred Parris.
In the still of the night.
And the Five Satins.
Thank you. Thank you very much. A tune that's been associated with us for about 197 years. We'd like to do it for you right now, if we may. In the still of the night, I held you tight, 'cause I love you so. Promise I'll never let you go. In the still of the night. Oh, yeah. I remember that night in May. The stars were bright above. I hope and I'll pray to keep your precious love well before the light goes beyond edge with all of your might in the still of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, an authentic 1956 routine right out of the Brooklyn Paramount. So before the light goes beyond edge with all of your might in the still of the night. In the still of the night. In the still of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know you make me feel just like 1956?
One resident describes her horrifying experience when she first realized the complex was on fire.
I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Well, I woke up to go give me a cold pop. Then I thought somebody was barbecuing. Lord Jesus is a fire. Jesus, 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 Jesus. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Welcome to Formula Auto Wash, where every day is a great day for a car wash. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Sundays 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Detailing packages for every budget, starting out at $29.99. 100% hand wash and detail centre. Hog's hair and microfiber brushes and mips. Proudly using Ecolab Blue Coral soaps and waxes. Formula Auto Wash has served the community for over 30 years. Senior discounts all day, every day. Ladies' Day Wednesday, $3 off any wash. Early bird discount Monday through Thursday till 9:30 a.m. Check out our website, formulaautowash.com.
Mickey B here. I guess.
Is that you?
Yeah, I think this phone's ringing, you know.
Yeah, well, you better pick it up because they're all watching you.
And
Go
it-
for the phone.
You know, it's an amazing thing here. on
Tell
this
me,
phone.
talking to the mic, or else they're not going to hear
How
you.
these phones work, you know.
Yeah, how's it work? Is it vibrating right now?
No, it's doing
Yeah,
it.
you can't
And
find
my-
it, can you?
I got it now, but you know, that's what happens.
What happens?
I thought I shut it off,
Oh,
but I didn't shut it off. Must be. Let me see here.
is it your boss?
No, somebody must be calling for a thing. Yeah, it must be calling for one of the songs, dedications to the wrong line.
You think so?
You never know what could happen.
It rings again.
How did you like that 5 Satins, huh?
You know, I did, but let me now I'll tell you another observation here that I had with the 5 Satins.
Yeah,
Do you notice what they were wearing?
white outfits, white tops.
People back then, when they got up on stage, they were classy.
Yeah, they look good.
The white outfits, the bow ties, you know, the steps, the moves, everything that they did was very classy. Today, you get up like this Molly Cyrus with the tongue hanging out. Did you see that, by the way?
No, I heard all kinds of crazy things.
She
going on.
gets up there, she's bent over, she's wagging her little booty like, you know, she was looking for something. The tongue hanging out like Gene Simmons. You know Gene Simmons?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
from
that's a
Kiss?
Kiss. A Kiss, yeah.
You remember with the giant tongue?
Uh-huh.
She's got this thing. I don't know how she did it. She must have had something, you know. One thing I know, you know, in being in the business that I'm in, that people, surgery, and things, you can, you know, Gene Simmons had his tongue clipped. You know that?
Yeah.
The bottom part.
It was
There's-
clipped?
You know that little thing on the bottom part? I don't want to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
gross here, but the thing on the bottom of your tongue.
It's not
that
there
actually,
anymore?
when if you cut that, your tongue comes out a lot further.
Oh, is that what happens?
The way that I saw this chick on those MP whatever the awards was,
Yeah.
she must have had a clip because let me tell you, her tongue was hanging out of her mouth like. Yeah, do you ever see an animal after it's been killed? The tongue is hanging
Oh,
out.
yeah, that's
what she
disgusting.
reminded-
That's a terrible thing.
Well, that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
And you know what? One thing that I have to say about especially even the girl groups from back in the
Mm-hmm.
day in the 50s and 60s, you never ever saw anybody back then doing what they're doing today
No,
on
no.
stage. Not that I'm saying Madonna is bad. Madonna did it with a little bit of class. It was
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it was a little controversial, but what this girl Miley Cyrus did with the other day was
Well,
absolutely
this is the
embarrassing.
problem that happened, Tommy, with all the sex and the dirty jokes on radio and all kinds of stuff. Everything started to drift and drift and drift. We're drifting too far away from the center, you know?
No, and you know what? It's not being censored like it used to
Right,
be either.
right,
So that's what happens. But I know that's one of the biggest things that I noticed about groups in the 50s and 60s is they dressed impeccable and they took pride in what they were wearing and the way they looked.
Yep, absolutely. You know, when we talk about certain guys and certain looks and certain things, there were always these single artists that were out there, you know? And one of the guys that come to mind is a guy by the name of Richie Valenzuela.
Oh, yeah.
Not the Valenzuela that pitched for the Dodgers.
No, I know the guy that was with the Big Bopper and what's his other name?
That's
and
right, Buddy Holly.
Buddy Holly.
Buddy
yeah,
Holly.
in the plane crash.
And you talk about this. You know, before when we did Dion and the Belmonts, do you know they were supposed to be on the plane?
No
But Dion,
kidding.
yeah, Dion gave up his spot for one of those guys to take it because they wanted to get there.
And I
They
think
didn't
he
feel
gave
well.
the spot up for Buddy Holly.
It might have been, yeah. And so what happened? They lived and they died. You know,
Unbelievable.
But it's an amazing story. The music, you talk about music being around forever. This music is around forever. It's played all the time. You always hear the Big Bop and Chantilly Lace. You
Buddy
always hear
Holly's biggest hit.
Peggy Sue.
And what about the one? What was his girlfriend's name?
Whose girlfriend?
Wasn't it Donna?
Oh, Donna. That was the other guy.
Oh, that was Richie Valens.
That's Richie Valens, yeah.
Right, I know it was one.
But
of them.
Richie Valens not only had Donna and La Bamba. Remember
Right,
La
La
Bamba?
Bamba, right.
But he had this song also go to the top of the charts. Listen to this one. Here he is, Mr. Richie Valens.
There you go.
Well, come on, let's go, little darling, and tell me that you never leave me. Come on, let's go, again and again. Well, now swing me all the way down there. Come on, let's go, little darling, let's go again once more. Well, I love you so, dear, and I'll never let you go. Come on, baby, so. Oh, pretty baby, I love you so. Let's go, little sweetheart, and then we can always be together. Come on, let's go again. I love you so, dear, and I'll never let you go. Come on, baby, so. Oh, pretty baby, I love you so. Let's go, little darling. Where that's we belong, dear. Come on, let's go. Again and again and again. Again and again and again. Again and again and again.
We're back here
Okay.
live with Mickey B, the Prince of Rock and Roll. And you know who we got on the phone right now?
Who do we have on the phone?
Let me tell you something. One of the original Marcells, Mr. Walt Maddox. Walt, are you there?
I'm right here.
I'm going to tell you something. There's nothing like the Marcells. And tell me a little bit about the group itself while we're going to look up a little bit of the Blue Moon. Could you see if you can get the Blue Moon thing on there? Or you can't do it now.
I
We'll do it
can
later on.
try. Let's see.
You're going to try it? All right, let's try to get
try
it.
it. Let's
Hey,
see.
Walt, how did the Marcells actually get together?
You know what? Back in the days, you had neighborhood groups, and every neighborhood had a group, and I think every street corner had a different singing group, and the Marcells were the same way. You could probably pick us all up in about a half hour.
Yeah, and you were all in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania?
Right.
Now, did everybody come from the same high school?
No, but again, you had Oliver High School and you had Allegheny High School, so they were relatively close.
Uh-huh. And who were the original members of the Marcells?
Now, the original members, if you remember, was a mixed group. You had two white kids, which was Dickie Canals and Gene Bricker.
Mm-hmm.
And you had three black kids, which was Fred Johnson, the original bass singer.
Cornelius Harp?
Cornelius Harp, and then Ronald Mundy.
Right. Now, the group changes. Now, that was back in, what, 1961?
1961.
And when did the
You
group...
got to remember, this country was not too liberal in 1961, so there was no room for a mixed group. If you had a mixed group, you had to get off the tours when they headed south.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah, you couldn't entertain different places. The segregation that was going on, it was...
But now, I remember in watching movies, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but didn't they have, like the Apollo Theater, didn't they have whites and mixed groups playing at the Apollo Theater back in 1961, 62?
Yeah, that was in the north.
That was in
when
north.
you headed south, and I can remember we left Canada and on our way down to Greenville, North Carolina, and we were about at Richmond, and back in those days when radio was in and out, and the announcer said the Marcells, and we were working with Ernie Cato.
Right.
And he said this will be a white dance with colored spectators, and I said, what did that guy just say? So this will be a white dance with colored spectators. Well, we found out on Friday it would be the white kids would be on the floor, and the black kids would be up in the balcony. And then on Saturday, it would just be the opposite. The black kids would be down on the floor, and the white kids would be up, but they weren't allowed on the same floor together.
Yeah, this happened all over the South at the time, which was really terrible. It had to be hard for you, of course. I spoke to Herbie Cox and the Cleftones and all the different groups that were traveling around that time with this segregation, you know. And Walt, let me ask you a question. When did the Marcells actually change their group members?
That was actually the original group didn't stay together that long. I joined in Blue Moon came out in February, and I joined the group in April.
And you joined the group in April, right after Blue Moon.
Right.
So you were on Heartaches.
Right.
Now
we
what?
recorded Heartaches, I think something like September.
Right. Now what happened? Why did the group change?
Again, for some of the reasons, but you know, you really don't know if you want to be in show business until you get in it. And it's a lot of fun as long as you go to a concert and you're dreaming about the day that you could be up on stage and 7 nights a week you're singing at a different place. I don't think money even entered into it. You didn't have that much intelligence to think about the money. You just thought as you sat there in the audience you were going to have a good time. And I think like anything else, when you get off by yourself, sometimes you don't have the same chemistry.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have the song.
And your songs were just tremendous. I mean, Blue Moon, Heartache, Summertime, I Want to Be the Leader of the Band. I mean, you had songs that went on and on and on. Goodbye to Love, one of my favorite songs, a B-side, of course.
That's the A-side.
And that was the A-side.
The A-side. They did, as a matter of fact, when they did the session, Stu Phillips produced the session, and he liked the changes. I don't know if you remember, there's a song called Zoom that the changes are the same as Blue Moon, and he liked changes, but he didn't like the song. So it was either going to be Heart and Soul, I believe, or Blue Moon, and Blue Moon was the song that they picked as the song that fit changes best. Now, if you remember Blue Moon, the bridge is a little different than the way it was written, and the writers wanted to sue because they said that the Marcells messed up their song.
Yeah.
That lasted for about a day. As soon as it would get all the airplay that it was getting, they just sent a letter over there making sure that they had the address right, so when they sent their checks over there, they'd come to the right address.
Well, you're going to be hanging with us a little while. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to play about maybe 30, 40 seconds of Blue Moon, and then we'll probably do a little Heartaches right after that, okay? So let's go back to 1961, the Colpix record label, back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with the Marcells and Blue Moon.
We'll be right back.
Dang dang dang, ding a dong ding, blue moon, moon, blue moon, dip dip dip, moon, 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 blue moon, dip dip dip, moon, 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 blue moon, dip dip dip, bomb 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 bomb, dang dang dang, ding a dong ding, blue moon, blue moon, blue moon. You saw me standing alone without a dream in my heart. Dang dang dang, ding and all ding blue moon, blue moon. You knew just what I was there for. You heard me say my prayer for someone I really care for. Wow, 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 wow. And then the Saturday before the only one moms with
there we are, Walt. Did you hear it? Did you catch it on the TV?
Oh, no, I didn't catch it.
You didn't catch it on there. Okay. Listen, let me tell you something. The Marcells, I mean, from the beginning of time, happened to be one of the greatest groups of rock and roll history. I mean, the music that you guys did were right on the numbers. When you hear a guy like Fred Johnson, the bass, nobody's ever repeated that sound. Boom, 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 that fullness and Heartaches or Blue Moon.
For some guys that had never recorded before, the technique and the way they recorded, it was just amazing. And I think you have to have recorded to understand me saying that, because Nene Harp, it was the same way. I mean, when I record, you put the volume on 8 or 9. When Nene recorded, you put the volume on 1 or 2.
Yeah. And I'm so interested. I'm so interested in these groups. I mean, where did you actually record your songs?
That was done at RCA Studios.
In New York?
Yes.
Oh, very interesting. So you were with Colpix, but you recorded at RCA Studios.
Yeah, but you got to remember, and this is the thing that I always make a point of saying to people, because first of all, the whole thing with the Marcells was a real fluke. I say that because, one, Blue Moon was the first song that did not come from Tin Pan Alley. You know, back in the days of movies, that's where the songs came from.
Mm-hmm.
It was also the first song that was not from a movie. By that I mean Colpix Records was set up to be for soundtracks for the movies.
Uh-huh.
The Marcells version of Blue Moon was the first song that Colpix recorded that was not from a movie. So there was a whole lot of things that was really just kind of a freak of the business.
Yeah.
It was the flip side of the record, and I say to kids, Blue Moon could not be a hit today, because you play the side that the company tells you to play. You don't. I mean, back in those days, disc jockeys they just enjoyed turning records over to see what's on the other side. Today, needless to say, with CDs, but you go by whatever the record label tells you. That's what you're promoting.
So you're saying that Goodbye to Love was the A side and Blue Moon was the flip side?
Blue Moon was an afterthought.
Was an afterthought, became the big hit. But I'll tell you something. Goodbye to Love, the harmony, the sound, the goodbye, goodbye. I mean, the song was outrageous. One of the best. Well, I'll call it a B side, because the A side is the side of Blue Moon, but of course it was reversed.
When I got into the group, and needless to say, we needed another record, so I was told I was a single artist at the time, and Stu said to me, if you join the group for one session, I'll give you a recording contract as a single. That turned out to be 50 years later, and I'm still with the group.
Just amazing. What a great sound. And so Goodbye to Love comes along. Tell me about the song Heartaches. I mean, after you had Blue Moon, now you get this another standard called Heartaches. Who thought that? Stu Phillips?
I got out of the rubbish. When our manager, needless to say, was from Pittsburgh, and we were up at his house. And
what was his name?
They were looking for another song, standard, and so they sent Heartaches in, the Ted Weems version of Heartaches.
Uh-huh.
And they threw it in the rubbish, and I picked it out of the rubbish, and I took it home, and I called Jules at 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, Jules, I got the next hit record. So I did the vocal arranging on Heartaches, which was, to me, one of my favorite tunes of Marcel's.
Oh, that's great. Who was your manager?
Jules Krusper.
And how did he come to you?
He was, he had a chain of cleaners. He knew nothing about show business, but he had, again, the determination to keep calling. Paul Wexler, I think, was the general manager at the Colpix at the time, and Stu Phillips and Bert Keys.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I love about Heartaches? I always love the beginning about, here we go again. Now, who thought...
That was Stu Phillips.
That was Stu Phillips?
He came up with that idea. Of course, all the bass riffs, Fred, he did that himself. He'd go in the room and he'd write out the syllables. I mean, it wasn't like he'd just sing them. He'd write them out as to what he wanted to do with it.
It was remarkable. The hook was tremendous. I mean, here we go again, thinking back that we just had Blue Moon, and it's yip, 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 whip, 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 boom, 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 boom. Hey, I'm going to tell you something, but I'm not going to tell you now because we're going to keep you hanging here. And let's do it now. This came out in 1962, right?
What do you play?
Heartaches?
Heartaches 61.
Was also in 61, right behind Blue Moon.
Right, and the flip side of that should have been a hit record, which was My Love for You. But we went in and did the movie, and when we went to do the movie, then they wanted to have another release, and they killed Heartaches, which we, at the time, we were starting to get some play on My Love for You and to bring out Merry Twistmas.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to you about Merry Twistmas soon, but we're going to get that one up too. I'm going to do it in 1 second. I just want to ask you one question here. You said that you were doing a movie. What was the name of that movie?
Twist Around the Clock.
Twist Around the Clock, and that was with Clay Cole in there, right?
Right, and Chubby Checker,
Yeah.
Dion, and Vicky Spencer. I did the
And a great movie. I always see that movie. You're bringing back great memories right here. We got the man himself, Mr. Walt Maddox, on, one of the original members, of course, of the Marcells. Here's a song that goes back to 61. We're talking about it. Here's Heartaches by the Marcells.
I'll be right back.
What a sound. Walt Maddox, it is just great. I mean, listen to Cornelius Harper's voice is tremendous. Fred Johnson, bip, 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 and the harmonies of the Marcells, just unbelievable sound.
Thank you.
Unbelievable sound. You know, we were talking about a song called Merry Twistmas. And you said that song is in the movie, right?
Right. Twist Around the Clock.
Twist Around the Clock. And it was a great song. Now, I don't know if you remember this, Walt Maddox, but you went into Rhode Island in 1961 and did a TV show there. I know you had many TV shows or radio shows. I don't know if you can think about all these shows, but do you remember Rhode Island at all on TV?
No, and I'm sure that was not the original group.
Well, whoever did Merry Twistmas at the time, were you with him?
Well, that was us. Yeah, I was with the group when we did Merry Twistmas.
Let me bring something back. Let me see if I can bring back a little memory. On the TV show that you did in Rhode Island was Linda Scott, Brian Hyland, you with the Marcells, and me in a group called Tico and the Tramps.
You're kidding. You?
And the reason I remember that is because I was there with you guys on the Rhode Island television show. And one of my favorite songs happened to be Merry Twistmas, probably because I was there at the time. And I play it all the time. Merry Twistmas, everybody, and a twist of New Year. Bop, 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 bop. Right?
Well, you know the show got banned. I mean, the song got banned from the radio.
It got banned on the radio?
Yeah.
Why?
They said we took Christ out of Christmas.
I can't believe that.
Maybe that's why we can't find it.
Wow.
You know, because we just went to look for it just now, and we couldn't find it.
Well, I mean, needless to say, it showed up if you have the CD. But the song that of all the songs that we did, Friendly Loans.
That was great, too.
And we sold 3,000 records the first week and didn't sell a record after that. I knew that was going to be the biggest record after Blue Moon.
After Friendly Loans.
It was so funny.
Yeah.
And they did some research on it to find out was there a company called Friendly Loans. Again, I wish I could say what happened to it, but I don't know what happened. But as a result of the record just fell flat on its face.
I love this song, I Want to Be the Leader.
Oh, yeah.
It was a great song. Old Black Magic.
Well, you know, the thing that happened to us, it happens to most groups. When you come up with a sound, and then everybody jumped on it, and so the public all of a sudden got tired of bass and songs relating to bass. But you remember that Mr. Bassman came along.
Oh, Johnny Cymbal.
The bump and the bump, and then you had the Etzels with the Ram-a-Lamba Ding Dong.
Well, the Etzels got to really thank you guys for that. When I spoke to Marshall Sewell, and he passed on only a couple months ago, God bless his soul. If it wasn't, it was Ram-a-Lamba Ding, that was Lama-Ram Ding Dong, and they came back out again after your, Blue Moon, and then went all the way to the top of the charts because you guys put that sound out, and they came back again, so they brought it in. Johnny Cymbal, I mean, the guy with him was Eddie Bright, who did the bass part in that song, and Eddie was singing with the Coasters for many years.
Well, I tell you, and which I'll stay in touch with you by Paul or whatever, but I'm working on a concept, legendary artists doing new material, and we have it probably just about finished at this point, but I just recorded Charlie Thomas with the Drifters on a song called "Don't Turn Your Back on Me."
Oh, that's great.
You know, we were just talking about that.
The Coasters going in with a song called "Up All Night," but the Marcells, and so Skyliners, their song is finished. The only one that isn't finished is the Edsels and the Coasters, which I intend to.
Oh, that's tremendous.
Do in about 2 weeks, but I've asked a lot of people to come to our shows, and I don't know. Have you a copy of High School Memories?
Yes, I have that, and make sure I get that copy of what you're working on right now to my radio show, and of course right here on Madhouse TV.
We will do that.
I want to mention that you guys are going to be with us in February at the Patchogue Theater, Walt Maddox. So people are going to love it. You know, we got a great show heading for February with the Duprees and Larry Chance and the Earls are on there, and you're on there, the Marcells and Kathy and Jean, the Roommates, and the Emotions, and so many other great groups. The acapella sounds of the Traditions will be there. So we're looking forward for the Marcells to come out to Long Island. And, I mean, if people haven't seen you in a long time, man, wait until you see and hear the Marcells of today. These guys are outrageous. I mean, the harmonies, the sound is just phenomenal. You do a great job on stage. You're great guys. You've been out there for a long, long time. And we love you for the music.
Thank you so much.
And here's what we're going to do right now. Well, I want to thank you for calling into Madhouse Internet Radio and TV tonight on Tuesday night. People seeing us all over the world, hearing us all over the world, and I think we got summertime ready.
We have, but actually we do. But I have a special treat here that, if you don't mind, I'm going to play for Mickey. Okay?
All right.
All right. We'll be right back.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
No, Merry Christmas.
And a twisted New Year.
Yeah, we've been twisting.
Santa twist.
No, oh yeah, twist.
Santa twist.
Yeah, we've been twisting.
Santa twist.
No, oh yeah, twist.
Santa twist.
Now, Merry Christmas
Santa twist.
to all of you.
Santa twist.
Come on, let's twist. Round the mistletoe. Come on, let's twist. Round the mistletoe. Come on, everybody. Let's go, let's go. Bells are ringing. Swing a swing-a-doo. Bells are ringing. Swing a swing-a-doo. So Merry Christmas.
Played a little piece of that song. Are you there, Walt?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just found it.
Just a little Merry Twist, one of my favorite songs. I mean, it's just
Oh, yeah.
remarkable sound of the Marcells. You guys are right on the top of the list of the greatest recordings in the history of rock and roll. How did you get that name? I know it was named after a hairstyle, right? The Marcells?
Right. There's a lot. They called them processes as they came, but it was actually it's a French name, and it was a hairstyle.
Uh-huh. And that's how you got it.
Yes.
And all of you wore this Marcel haircut at the time?
Fred's sister came up with the whole concept of the Marcells.
Who did?
Fred's sister.
Oh, Fred's sister? Yeah. Hey, were you guys, I mean, I know you sang it all. Anybody in the sports? Did you play a lot of baseball, basketball, football?
I played sports, but again, I wanted to be a singer, and I just dedicated my life. I've been very blessed to be able to have sung all my life for a living.
Mm-hmm.
And even now, for us to work as much as we do when so many of the guys are struggling, we've been really blessed.
Nah, that's great. Hey, Walt Maddox, you're a great guy. I can't wait to see you in February when you come up here. And, of course, make sure I get that new album as fast as you can, all right?
You got it.
And we're going to conclude with one more song. And, of course, we want to thank Walt Maddox for calling in tonight and being part of the Mickey B Jukebox Review of Madhouse Radio and TV. And here's something called Summertime. Walt, thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
You take care. Sure. Bye-bye now.
Summertime, summertime, summer, summer, summertime, summertime, summertime,
Summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Your dad is rich, and your mom is good
That's the Marcells. Are these guys great?
Listen, we got a few minutes left here. I want to just ask you. I know that you do a lot of charities for a lot of different organizations. I remember, and I think I found something here that I want to play.
Yeah.
Didn't you do something for cerebral palsy? How long ago? You did a telethon, weren't you? 1960, what?
No, about in the 90s. I was on
It was
the
in,
cerebral
I mean, I'm
palsy
sorry,
telethon.
1991, 92?
92. I was on with them for 28 years with Dennis James and Ben Vereen, Marilyn Michaels, and Clint Holmes, and raised a lot of money at that time. I was on.
Now, when was the last time you... Now, I found the video. When was the
Yeah.
last time you saw this video? Do
Which
you remember the video? You know which one I'm talking about?
We're on a video?
Yeah.
Which
You
video?
actually... I think you had dark hair then.
Who was on that video?
I don't remember who was on it. I can't remember.
The only thing possibly I think that somebody told me that might have seen was something about the Dimensions. I haven't seen it yet, but the Dimensions.
Now, the Dimensions are going to be at your...
They're going to be on my show September the 21st
Right.
at Patchogue Theater, along with the Contours. Listen to this. We're bringing in the Contours. Do you love me?
Am I invited there?
Absolutely.
I just want to know ahead of time
Of
because
course,
it
of course.
depends on whether I'm going to play the video
No,
or not.
You're invited.
Okay.
Invited. But,
All right,
but let me tell you one thing. The
Go ahead.
Contours, they got Do You Love Me. We got the classics. We got the Passions with Jimmy Gallagher. We got John Coos and the Excellence. We have Lala Brooks with the Crystals, the girls.
Right.
We have also the Dimensions.
You going to have any food backstage?
Oh, absolutely. Always got food.
Can I play this video?
Yeah, and this is what? This is the one with the Dimensions?
I think so.
All right,
I'm going to
let's-
surprise you.
Let's take a look.
All right. Here we go. Stand by. We'll be right back.
I would like to introduce you to the Prince of Rock and Roll, Mickey B. We're going to go back to about 1960, the Bronx, New York, a group that had the number 10 song in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Lenny Dell's Dimensions. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. And the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Today I wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly above the rainbow.
The fabulous Lenny Dell and the Dimensions. How'd you like that, Tommy, huh?
That was amazing. The only reason I got to let you know that we let that video go over our time period is because Over the Rainbow has to be my favorite song in the whole world. In fact, that Hawaiian guy just died who sang that. Did you know that?
Who was that?
I forget what his name was. He's actually on the Gayle King show. She uses him.
Yeah?
He sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and it has to be. In fact, I told my wife, buy me a piano for Christmas.
Yeah.
She might be a piano. She bought me a cheap organ, but I got it anyway. Only so that I could learn how to play that song.
It was amazing. You know, I had one time a car ran over my fingers when I was playing stickball. And when I went to the doctor, I asked him if I asked the doctor, I just want to tell you something. I asked the doctor if I would be able to play piano again.
What do you say?
He says, I don't see why not. I says, well, I never played before. Anyway, with that, until the next time, from Mickey B and, of course, Tom Mele, God bless all of you. Madhouse TV.
We're going to end with a little song here for Mickey. Okay. We'll see you next week.
You cheated, you lied, you said that you loved me. You cheated, you lied, you said that you wanted